it means a lot to know that people around the conference, coaches and stuff recognize that too. So it just feels really good. But doesn't mean a whole lot until it's the end of the season one. But, yeah, it's still special.
You've already had a pretty decorated career here at North Dakota, and you decided to come back for another year. How come?
I just want to play as long as I can and not really trying to go out and work, do all that.
That's fair.
Yeah, but felt like I still had more to give to UND in this program. So, yeah.
And what do you think that is for this team this year? I know your coach said you guys want to get back to this floor and have success. Maybe for you personally and for this team, what does that successful season look like for you guys?
I think a goal for a while has been just like a 20-win season. I know we're still hunting for that. We're hunting for I've still never won a Summit League tournament game, and that's something really big for me this year. And just I think continuing to build our culture and just have a stronger team dynamic.
You mentioned culture, and it's a buzzword, and we've talked about it with a variety of coaches and other players that have sat in this chair so far today. When you guys talk about this together, what is the culture of North Dakota women's basketball? What do you guys pride yourselves on a daily basis?
Just continuing to get better every single day, coming in every day with a purpose and not taking any days off, not letting outside factors affect us, just every single day continuing to get better.
So from that standpoint, what have you looked at? Because you had a very successful season last year. And you say, okay, how do I get better? What were the things you focused on in the off season to help your game?
Something really big for me right now is being more of a vocal leader and bringing other players along with me. So not so much, of course, individual development always, but we have a pretty new team. Some transfers, but a lot of freshmen too. So learning how I can bring those players kind of up to my level, up to speed. So being more of a vocal leader instead of just leading by example this year has kind of been a challenge, but it's been exciting. Yeah.
Coach mentioned all of those young players. She talked a lot about that youth, and then I think maybe kind of kicking herself for some of the games that you guys are going to play early in the league, or early in the season. But with those new faces and kind of blending them all together, what have you seen at practice? How competitive has it been? And, how are you guys working together to bring them along?
It's been extremely competitive, and I think that's really good for us. But we are athletic, we're fast, and we just have to bring all the pieces together on the basketball side, the offense, the defense, working even with transfers. I mean, not everyone's always had the same philosophy, principles. So I think just really focusing on that and getting everyone on the same page is kind of what this preseason has been really focused on.
Absolutely, and it takes a lot. It's not easy. That takes a lot. And it's an effort by everybody, for sure.
Your coach also talked about how from last year being a smaller team to this year adding some height. How does that change the approach for you guys going into the season as well? Or maybe it doesn't.
I think all our identity is still going to be the same. We want to run. We want to get up the floor. But I think it's definitely going to help us. Sometimes we're not as strong rebounding or just defense in the paint, things like that. So I think that's going to really change us on the defensive side. But I think, offensively, a lot of that stuff is we're going to try to stay the same.
Yeah, experience is one of the things that you just can't teach as a coach. What do you draw from that experience in this being your 5th year?
Something I was talking about earlier is I've played in every gym. I've played in this gym, and just knowing what to expect, like being here this long, you kind of know what every team does, what their what is MO? Is that what it's called? Kind of knowing that for every team and being able to share that with my teammates, with new freshmen, and just using my experience and knowledge to, once again, just try to string them along, bring them with me. So
you're well known in this league, and obviously by the awards you have going into the season, it's going to change a little bit of how maybe you go into the season. No, your coach said people might sag off you a little bit, they might guard you a little bit differently. How do you personally take that on as a mindset going into games, knowing there's a target on me in every single game, and maybe this year even more?
Yeah, I think they try to emphasize that in practices too. Like they'll put different defenses on me. If we think somebody's going to do some scheming, we'll practice that. And I just always make sure I'm prepared for pretty much anything so that I'm not super surprised or thrown off in games. So just keeping my mind right and really expecting anything.
When you say prepared, does that mean the stuff that you guys are doing in practice, and how much of that goes onto your shoulders off the court in that preparation to get ready for maybe specific looks that might be just against you?
Yeah, it's tough. I do a lot. I talk a lot with my coaches, and we kind of try to get me prepared as well. But just watching a lot of film, looking at their tendencies, things like that. But yeah, you never really know for sure, so kind of have to,
Prepare for it all.
It's tough, but
Yeah.
prepare for it all.
Get ready for everything.
You do it all.
Okay,
Yeah.
I've got one last question because I'm kind of a stat nerd in certain things, not everything because you can just get bogged in it. But the one that stands out to me that I love on yours, you shot 86% from the free throw line a year ago. That's not easy to do, and I think everybody says, "Well, you should be able to make free throws." How have you become such a good and consistent free throw shooter?
They're so important, and my parents told me that growing up. Like, I've just always practiced free throws. Like, I'm practicing, I'm tired, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go shoot 2 free throws.
Yep.
You know, just little things all the time because it's things that do win games. You know, it's something little, but teams that make or even shoot more free throws a lot of times come out on top of the games, and it's just something I've always taken pride in.
Well,
So
great advice from your parents. I
Thank
love
you.
that. And that should be on like a T-shirt you share with
shoot your free throws.
Yeah, shoot it. We should tell every
Chores.
little player that is shoot free throws. People don't realize it is incredibly important. No doubt.
We've got some fun questions for you to round off the show. First one being, who was your role model growing up in basketball?
My older sister. I have 2 sisters, one 2 years older than me, one 2 years younger than me, and I think we've always kind of, like, I was probably the role model for my younger sister and just trying to be better than my older sister, trying to copy her and all the little things she does. And I know we were always annoyed with each other, but it was so much fun having one older, one younger, and
Lots of games of knockout.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how you practice the free throws.
It really is.
Next one, I'm curious, best place to eat in North Dakota?
Sakura.
Okay, what's that?
It's like a Japanese
Okay, I've been
sushi
there.
steakhouse.
I've actually been
Yeah,
there.
it's so good. Hibachi.
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite. I
I'll
love
have to try
sushi.
Free
that.
plug.
Great-
Free plug.
Great,
They
ex-
just
great
got.
experience.
It
It was
is.
fun.
There you
My
go.
soccer team when we used to go to North Dakota, we would always go to Sakura.
It's so good.
Super
Yeah.
fun.
Is it where they cook it in
plug.
front of you?
Yeah.
That kind of vibe?
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay.
there you go.
That's so
Awesome.
fun. Okay.
Last one, what was the latest show you've been binge watching? Any Netflix shows or movies?
Money Heist.
Okay.
Okay, I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like
On
It
my
was
Net-
really good. It's
Okay.
an older show, but I
Okay.
just kind of got introduced to it. That was the last one I binge watched.
It was good?
It was so good.
Okay.
The
There we
ending.
go.
Okay.
Well, don't
ending-
tell us.
I'm not going to tell you, but it was.
Don't give it away.
It was so, like, you're so satisfied.
Okay, good. It's
Yeah.
not one of those where you're like, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ties
it
it
was
all
good.
together at the
It
end.
does. Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
Awesome.
Kacie, good luck this season.
Thank
Best
you
of
so
luck
much.
to all the Fighting Hawks, and thank you so much for your time hanging out with us.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. Good to see you.
You too.